What's up guys, my name is Aaron. Today I'm going to be reviewing Flower. This movie is written and directed by Max Winkler and it stars Zoey Deutch. It's basically about this troubled but well-meaning teenage girl named Erica, who's played by Zoey Deutch, who rallies her friends, teams up with her new stepbrother Luke, who's played by Joey Morgan, to become vigilantes and stalk Will, played by Adam Scott, a teacher who Luke claims sexually assaulted him when he was younger. I guess in tone, it's basically like a dark comedy, I would say. I was all over this when I saw like the trailer and stuff. Like, Zoey Deutch is probably one of my favorite actresses working right now. I think she's really kind of charismatic and stuff. And ever since I saw her in like Everybody Wants Some, like I always thought that she was like really great. And I wanted to see her in like things as good as that movie. Some of the things that I've seen her in aren't that great, but I thought this would be like a kind of a good showcase for her. I think overall this is an enjoyable movie, but I'm conflicted about what I'm watching. I think the first 2/3 of it were generally great and really fascinating, focusing on this sexually promiscuous but kind of mentally disturbed young teen, helping out her new stepbrother Luke take down a sexual predator Will. I think that Erica is a fascinating character who is clearly operating from a sense of deep pain, but her outlook is very upbeat. She's very charming in a kind of messed up way. I don't really think like a lot of actors can kind of handle this really tonally weird character, but I think Deutch really handles the character with ease, bringing so much like warmth and enjoyment to Erica that you're almost immediately on her side throughout this morally corrupt behavior. I think she's got great comedic timing and kills the more emotional, vulnerable parts of the character. I can't really like stress how much this really wouldn't work without Deutch's charismatic portrayal. I think she's really great in here. The rest of the cast is solid, with Dylan Gelula and Maya Ashett being pretty believable as Erica's rowdy best friends. Tim Heidecker isn't used all that much, but he kind of tones down his usual ironic persona to be good as Erica's nerdy stepfather, and Adam Scott brings so much nervous humanity to his morally questionable character that he was pretty solid as well. I think Kathryn Hahn as Erica's mother and Joey Morgan as Luke were probably the best of the supporting characters. Hahn displaying like a bunch of chemistry with Deutch as a really raw and messy type of supportive mom, and I think Morgan shows like a bunch of inner turmoil about his situation and stuff. I think he's really good with like the tortured nature of his character. The movie is pretty hilarious in the first 2 acts, focusing on this like kind of dark, messed up sense of humor that really reminds me of like It's Always Sunny. A lot of jokes about taboo subjects like incest, abuse, insults, stuff like that. But they're all really delivered in a pretty chill and easygoing manner, especially by Deutch. I think she's really good at kind of making all this seem light. This might not really like resonate with a lot of people, but it totally worked with me, at least on like a humor level. I think this movie is also kind of woke in a way, how this young woman is taking advantage of men in power with sexual acts of blackmailing and stuff. The movie's first 2/3 really had me on the edge of my seat in a way that I've never really been, as I haven't really seen this type of woman behave on screen. It just felt really like unique and forward-thinking in a way that made this fun to watch, especially in its first 2/3. The movie is also really beautiful, taking place in Southern California. The camera used is really soft, light, and airy that makes the world seem really intoxicating and alluring. There's a bunch of pink and light colors that really contrast with Erica's character in an interesting way. I guess stylistically it reminded me of Ingrid Goes West, which makes sense because the writer for this movie is attached with that movie, and I think it reminded me of Palo Alto. Maybe not as quite as stunning as that movie was, but in the same ballpark in look and feeling. I think the major hang-up I have with this movie is the 3rd act. I think the movie up to that point acts in this kind of weird murky area that kind of edges close to the boundary lines, but it makes a decision in the 3rd act that I don't know if it can kind of fully come back from. It's really tonally bizarre, almost like a complete 180 from what happened before it. It feels like the writers and director kind of didn't have like a clear ending, so they kind of just winged it. It really didn't track with what happened in the first 2 acts, and I just don't know what the point of the movie is supposed to be. I just kind of really lost me at that point. But I think overall, this is an enjoyable movie. Erica is a really interesting character, and Deutch plays her with such charisma and warmth that you're always on her side. The supporting actors are solid as well. The plot and tone is pretty unique and in a weird way kind of progressive. It kind of entices the viewer to be entertained by the actions. The movie is also shot really well in kind of an indie way, but honestly, like the 3rd act is so jarring and bizarre that it almost completely lost me. I will say that maybe I'll get into the rhythm of the movie once I rewatch it. I definitely will because of Deutch, but this is about as high as I can go rating-wise. Overall, I would give this like a 6 out of 10. This movie is entertaining, but I would probably wait to watch this on streaming because it's a really kind of weird tonally movie, and I don't know if it's going to track with everybody. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Flower. What are your guys' thoughts? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comments what you thought, and thanks for watching. Thanks guys. Bye.